Hey, let's do an Eaglemoss unboxing and review of the USS Saratoga. NCC 31911, USS Saratoga. Now, this is the Saratoga as seen in Deep Space Nine. The Battle of Wolf 359, in which Picard was Locutus. It's also where Sisko lost his wife. Here's where he is ejected from the escape pod. And it was a pretty cool shot because you can see him leave the escape pod and then the Saratoga explodes. Here's a neat fact. The studio model of the USS Reliant, as seen above, was modified several times and ended up being used to depict the USS Saratoga when they still used live action models. So the Saratoga is the Reliant. Of course, we saw the Miranda class several times in the Next Generation also. The studio model was altered once more and labeled as the USS Saratoga for its outing and emissary, but the roll bar was ultimately left off. Look how big that ship is, that model. I'd like to have that. Let's see. The Miranda class turned up as the USS Lantry in the unnatural selection. The roll bar was absent. And then it was changed, the Reliant was changed into the Britannia in Night Terrors. The name was misspelled on the saucer as Britain. How'd that happen? Same people put the Hubble in the orbit? Remember the Hubble telescope? Once it got sent up with the wrong mirrors? So, we talk about the evolution of Sisko, and he was the emissary, of course, and its appearance was in Emissary. I guess that was the only episode in Deep Space Nine that this ship appeared in it. I mean, I know the Saratoga wouldn't appear anymore. It was destroyed, but I'm talking about the Miranda class. Okay, let's take a look at the ship. Now, if you remember, Star Trek has more than one Saratoga. There was another Saratoga that was in Star Trek A Voyage Home with the whales. And as you can see, that Saratoga still had the roll bar. And looking at this ship, you see the huge lasers here. No roll bar. And you can see the bottom detail. Paint highlights. This is basically the Reliant without the roll bar, and then it had these added X-wing lasers. Why don't we get the Reliant and make a comparison? And from the beginning, it looks like the Saratoga is a bigger ship. Let's get them up closer and take a better look at them. Now, with this view, it looks like the saucers are actually the same size, and I would hope that they would be because, quite frankly, why make these two ships different in scale and size? Now, the Saratoga's nacelles are definitely longer than the Reliant. Now, when you're up close, though, it looks like the... Wow, it's hard to tell, isn't it? Let's turn them upside down. It looks like the Saratoga is slightly bigger than the Reliant, which is disappointing if this is true. Maybe these guns are what's throwing it off. I'll put my finger over that gun, and now the saucers do look the same size. The detail is slightly different. Right here on the bottom. But with my fingers over the guns, it looks like the saucers are the same shape, but the nacelles are definitely longer on the Saratoga. The detail on the bottom is almost identical, except for those 4-tone, the orbital sensor, or whatever it's called. I'll put my fingers over that. Wow, the optical illusion is interesting. So now they look the same size. Fascinating, isn't it? The detail is nearly identical, I guess it should be. And why not throw the Hallmark ornament in there for comparison also? I wasn't going to do a Reliant review because everybody's seen that. But while I'm here, this is the Hallmark ornament. It's got a battery compartment there and an on and off button. Is that cool or what? The Reliant, Eaglemoss, and the Hallmark ornament are the same size. Is that cool? The lights time out on the Hallmark ornament. I'll press the button again. That's pretty cool. Hallmark ornaments are pretty good as far as detail. Looks like I didn't even need to purchase the Eaglemoss, right? Even though in the movie these nacelles never lit up because it never went into warp. Okay, that comparison is done. So it's a good likeness. I love the Miranda class. To recap, the only difference between this and the Reliant is the nacelles are longer, as we saw earlier. And the roll bar is missing, and they have a couple of cannons here that looks like they were taken off an X-Wing from Star Wars. But the detail's good, the Aztecing, it's got some great Aztecing on there. So I would say this is a hit for Eaglemoss. It's a very good likeness. I don't know if I would have had these so red, but anyway, thanks for watching, and please subscribe, and we'll see you next video.